Episode 30, Leveraging Drones for Perimeter, Surveillance and Recon, a new force multiplier for executive protection. Welcome to Executive Protection Insights, the podcast where we break down real-world lessons, evolving threats, and the tools shaping modern executive protection. I'm Liam, your host. Today, I want you to picture something. You're standing at the edge of a venue just before doors open. The principal hasn't arrived yet. The crowd is forming. Vehicles are lining up. Radios are quiet. For now. From ground level, everything looks normal. Calm, controlled. But experience tells you something important. Ground level calm does not equal security. Because what you can't see, what's happening above you, behind structures, or beyond the outer perimeter, is often where risk begins. That's where drones come in. Not as gadgets, not as toys, but as eyes in the sky, extending your awareness, buying you time, and giving you options. Drones are no longer futuristic or experimental. In executive protection, they are becoming a legitimate force multiplier for perimeter surveillance, reconnaissance, and operational decision-making. In this episode, we'll explore how drones are used in executive protection, where they truly add value, where they can fail, and what protection teams must understand before integrating them into live operations. Understanding drones in executive protection operations. Let's slow this down and ground it in reality. In executive protection, drones are not about technology for technology's sake. They exist for one reason: to reduce uncertainty. Every EP operation is a fight against unknowns. Unknown access points, unknown crowd behavior, unknown movement beyond your line of sight. Drones help shrink that uncertainty. Most EP drone use falls into three core functions: reconnaissance, perimeter surveillance, and situational awareness. Think of a drone as a mobile observation post, one that can move vertically and horizontally, reposition instantly, and see things that static posts never will. From rooftops to rear service corridors, from parking structures to temporary fencing lines, drones reveal the parts of the environment that attackers often exploit precisely because they're overlooked. And this is critical. Drones don't replace officers. They don't replace judgment. They extend human perception. Common use cases for drones in EP. To really understand their impact, let's walk through how drones are actually used. Not in theory, but in real-world EP operations. Pre-event reconnaissance. Advanced work is where drone value begins. Before boots hit the ground, a drone can be airborne. Within minutes, advanced teams can see the venue from angles no walkthrough provides. Rooftops with direct lines of sight. Fire escapes leading into restricted zones. HVAC units that double as elevated platforms. Temporary scaffolding that didn't exist on last year's site plan. From the ground, these details are easy to miss. From the air, they stand out immediately. Many teams discover vulnerabilities during drone recon that fundamentally change their perimeter design. Barrier placement, post assignments, even arrival routes. This is reconnaissance that doesn't rely on assumptions. It relies on observation. Perimeter monitoring during events. Once the operation goes live, drones shift from planning tools to early warning systems. They patrol outer perimeters. They observe crowd density and flow. They watch the spaces between formal security layers, the gray zones where risk often develops. From above, patterns emerge. People moving against the flow. Individuals lingering near restricted areas. Vehicles stopping where they shouldn't. Most importantly, drones give teams time. Time to investigate, reposition, or intervene before a situation escalates. Route recon and movement planning. Movement is where executive protection is most vulnerable. A drone ahead of movement can confirm route viability in real time. Traffic congestion, spontaneous protests, construction closures, accidental bottlenecks. Instead of discovering problems at the last second, teams can adapt early, rerouting smoothly instead of reacting under pressure. This turns movement from a gamble into a managed risk. Post-incident assessment. When something goes wrong, and eventually something always does, drones become clarity tools. Rather than relying on fragmented radio reports, command elements can see the situation unfold. They can identify where resources are needed, where threats are located, and how to respond safely. This reduces confusion, speeds response, and protects personnel. Key advantages of drone-based surveillance. So why are drones such a game changer? Expanded situational awareness. From the air, complexity becomes understandable. Crowd behavior, terrain challenges, and perimeter integrity are easier to assess when viewed as a whole. This big picture awareness supports better decisions, especially under stress. Reduced risk to personnel. Every time a drone conducts recon, it replaces a potentially exposed human being. That matters. Speed and flexibility. Drones move faster than patrols and see more than cameras. When conditions change, weather, crowds, movement, drones adapt instantly. Real-time intelligence. Live feeds turn assumptions into facts. Decisions are no longer based on last report, but on what's happening now. Limitations and risks of drone use. Now let's talk about reality, because drones are not flawless. Legal and regulatory constraints. Airspace laws are non-negotiable. Ignoring them isn't innovation, it's liability. Advanced teams must understand where drones are allowed, when permissions are required, and who needs to be notified. Counter-drone risks. In higher threat environments, assume your drone may be detected, jammed, or spoofed. If your operation collapses because a drone fails, the failure isn't technical, it's planning. Environmental factors. Wind, rain, darkness, and interference all degrade performance. Drones are tools, not guarantees. Over-reliance on technology. The most dangerous mistake is believing the drone makes you safe. It doesn't. Only planning, training, and disciplined execution do. Lessons learned for executive protection teams. So what should EP professionals take away? Integration is everything. Drones must support layered security, not operate independently. Training is non-negotiable. Poorly trained operators create risk, not security. Clear command and control. Who watches the feed? Who decides? Who acts? If that's unclear, response will be slow. Plan for failure. Always assume the drone will fail and plan accordingly. The role of advanced work in drone deployment. Advanced work is where drones provide their greatest return. Aerial recon informs barrier placement, post coverage, and movement plans. Advanced teams must also coordinate approvals, integrate feeds into command centers, and define how drone intelligence is used, not just collected. Advanced work turns drone footage into action, adapting to modern threat environments. Modern threat environments are dynamic. Open venues, massive crowds, dense urban terrain, rapidly forming protests. Drones don't eliminate risk, but they help teams understand it faster and respond smarter. And that difference matters. Practical steps for EP teams. If you're considering drones, write SOPs, train operators, integrate feeds into command, rehearse failure, debrief relentlessly. Drones are tools. Discipline determines their value. Closing thoughts. Drones are no longer optional in high-end executive protection. They are becoming standard. They extend visibility. They buy time. They reduce uncertainty. But technology alone doesn't create security. Preparation does. Platforms like Advanced Work help teams plan, coordinate, and execute complex operations with clarity and control, from advanced work to live execution. Thank you for listening to Executive Protection Insights. If this episode resonated, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your network. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay prepared, and remember, the earlier you see the threat, the more options you have to stop it.